We always skip ahead past the previously on all of our episodes, the recap, but today there is no recap, so you don't have to worry about that. Just make sure that you have the episode paused at the 0-second mark. It's best if you actually start the episode and then quickly pause it, like as soon as it starts, because then when we press our play buttons, we're going to press them all at the same time. It'll just start immediately for you rather than waiting for Netflix to load for a few seconds, right? Then other people will already be watching the episode and they'll be a little bit ahead of you. So we're going to do that here in a few seconds. Give you a second to get things up to speed. I am going to start my own recorder, and the recording has started. And I'm going to go into the Remarkist app where I can start that time code that I just mentioned. And we are about to start. So if you've been here before, you know what we're doing next. If you're new, grab your remote, have your trigger thumb on that play button, but don't press it yet because we're going to press it all at the same time on the count of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oof, hang on.
There's trumpet la-las.
I was just gonna say, have we had those before?
I don't think so. New.
I think the trumpet lalas are supposed to be sort of representative of everyone's headaches.
I agree. Yes.
Soft tacos.
I did the fries tonight, not the taco.
The Mars bar hair of the dog.
I caught that too. That's so funny.
By the way, somebody told me I was hinted on the socials by one of our community members that today is a big episode for one of my theories. It sounds like
It sure is.
It definitely is. But we're not telling.
I have no idea what it is, but I'm very excited. I hope I'm right. I hope it means you're in for a treat and not you're in for a ha ha.
Would it better if it's both?
I can do with that.
I think you'll be happy, but we're not telling.
I like these two episodes for
funny.
me.
Always one of my favorite lines in this episode.
You heard that he said that his hangover is from Abba Zabba's.
I didn't hear that, but I love it.
Kirk really knows how to party, man.
I'm trying to figure out what my theory is that I got right. I'm really hoping it's my theory that Marty's in a year in the life.
John, do you think he's in a year in the life?
We're not even close to that yet.
Salute to the Quakers Festival.
You know what I just realized? The show has hit its peak speed and I am completely and totally immune to it. Like I don't even notice it anymore.
Is this a safe space? Because I never noticed it.
Yeah, I mean, I as it was getting faster, I was like, whoa, it's getting faster, it's getting faster, it's getting faster. And now I just don't even notice it. But I'm sure if somebody just came in on season 5, they'd be like, whoa, these people just are talking way too fast. I don't even know what's going on right now.
It's just normal now because you're in it.
I am, really.
I feel like I talk at a really fast speed in normal life and people are like, slow.
Well, when I was on the show, you know, speaking fast was, you know, it was kind of work, you know, it was hard to do it, you know, like, and not tongue twist your line, you know, sometimes would tongue twist my lines because I was trying to go so fast. So I was always aware of the speed when we were making the show, but now I've just lost all perception of the speed. Uh-oh, what's going on here? What's going on here? Let's get some Huntsberger in this. Ha 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 ha. Ha ha. I just saw Greg Henry's name.
Who's that?
Firefly.
That's funny.
I like how he's pacing like a trapped animal.
Yeah, a tiger in a cage. I need a taco.
Oh, I need a taco.
Mine are on the way home.
I love vulnerable Logan.
Yeah, Emma screaming. She's so proud of him.
I hope she breastfed me.
Aww.
She's so happy. So, John, how do you think he's going to be at commitment?
At commitment, I think that he's going to be, I think he's actually not going to be bad.
Look who's
Forgot
in
about
in
this.
Paris's bed. Oh, oh.
Philip Ferris.
I'm trying to figure out what is on the bottom of Suki's socks. It kind of looks like Mr. Kool-Aid.
Now I can't see them.
And of course, now we're not going to see them.
Lorelai's shirt is very like Brady Bunch variety show.
Partridge Family bus.
Oh yeah.
Salad.
Check the trunk.
Michelle's sarcasm is one of my favorites.
A hoagie.
The hoagie. Could you picture him eating a hoagie?
He would eat it with a knife and fork.
He wouldn't touch it at all. I was gonna say. He'd take everything out from the bread.
Luke to the rescue.
So good.
Cool.
Oh, I always cringe at that.
This was the friend that Valerie was talking about over the week.
He almost said "holy shit," but
His
it's
favorite line.
but it's the WB, so he couldn't.
Favorite lines fix me up.
So good.
Her reaction were amazing.
Does Rory's hair look darker?
I think it's just the lighting. But I love it. It's new. Yeah, like a couple of hours.
Yeah.
It's like that more.
I love this Rory outfit and her hair today. She really came back from the whole hangover look.
How adorable looking up movie times in the paper. Right?
Check his trunk before he leaves, guys.
Is that the actress that waved to her when she was graduating?
Yes.
Yes.
Didn't she then say that she left?
She
the
moved.
family?
She moved somewhere else, but apparently she's back.
I mean, that's the one. That's what I was. Okay, thank you, Sherry.
And I bet Sheev is just loving that Tauntaun reference from Star Wars.
Oh my God, I love Doyle's shirt.
Wait,
Women belong in the House and in the Senate. So good.
Is Suki a better chef than Luke, or are they just different?
Different.
Just different.
They have different styles.
Definitely
Just as good.
different.
Just something
But
that came to me.
But Luke can handle.
That was such an interesting cut. That was a cut across time, like days or a day at least, because she's just wearing a completely different outfit.
Next.
Just interesting. She just like walks out. It's like walks out of the kitchen and then just like cut to walks into the house in a new outfit.
Would have been a commercial break.
Oh, I guess it did fade out, right?
Yeah.
Ooh,
And walks away.
we're gonna get some Huntsburger tonight.
Lots of
We're gonna get a little Huntsburger.
What's more? I love this.
I don't know. I'm wondering. He might not be a great. He might have some commitment though going on.
Look at Luke bringing out his.
I is scared too.
I love that.
My room is clean.
Remind me to say something about the actress who plays Nanny at the end. I just thought of something.
Looky.
Do you know where that house is, John?
I don't know, but that's got to be Huntsberger's house. Mitchum Huntsberger. We're about to see him. But seriously, I don't know where that house is. It's I don't know if that's on the lot.
It looks very much like something that would not be on.
I'm just looking forward to your reaction to the inside, John.
Yep.
I had no idea that there was this honor character.
I'm a fan of all.
Yeah, so far so good.
She's like the calm. She's like the what?
I love these Rory anecdotes. They're kind of like when Lorelai took Luke to to the Gilmore. Yeah.
Yes.
Look.
So efficient.
The house is pretty awesome.
General.
I mean, it's gaudy.
It's the Huntsberger. Newspaper Mongol of the world.
This is more uncomfortable than the Gilmores.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
I support. I love how Rory's just like obsessed with the house. The letter on a tray. I'm a fan of Josh too.
feel like he's a very underrated character.
This house is so cool.
Interesting that she thinks the house is so cool.
She likes this world.
She sure does.
Where is Pedro?
Suki,
He said
Suki.
he said that the food can't leave that building, only to go to the dining room or upstairs.
I'm pretty sure that's the only room we ever see in the dragon. Like, but
I really love Luke.
I love how
Me
he just
too.
takes the ladle. Look how big the tape.
Man, if we don't get Mitchum Huntsberger in this episode, after Greg Henry's name was in the credits,
Hold your horses.
Patience is a virtue, John.
so this is basically the tricks of their family.
Basically, yeah, that'll work.
That's a good way to think.
You're gonna get some kernels, John.
I was just about to say that.
I'm so confused.
Oh no.
Yeah, really?
Eh,
They really did.
She's so confused.
Her face.
Here he comes. Here he comes. Come on, Mitchum.
I'm like, Gilmore. Notice what he just said.
Your prediction was right, John.
Oh yeah.
I can't help, but he was on Outlander, right?
No,
No, he's not the one that was on Outlander.
no. There's nobody from the US in Outland.
I think you're thinking of Tobias.
No,
He
I
was-
might be. He's the
He
blonde.
was on in Fire.
I just care.
Is
He's like
Hershey
a
on
red
Lane?
So who was scarier, the grandfather or Strobe?
Strobe is the worst. Strobe's the worst. Grandfather's just an old grandpa. Just an old crotchety grandpa. Strobe was a real nasty individual.
Agreed.
Yeah, no contest with him.
They're both pieces of work.
Logan's mom's not that great either.
No. Shira is definitely a piece of.
He is not.
I wish I had a nanny when my husband has his man flus.
Same.
That is if you haven't killed me yet.
I love that part.
Protected Jackson.
Yeah, Jackson every once in a while comes through with that protective.
No, I'm gonna do nuts.
I love him.
That's
So
good.
good.
So good.
I love his rant.
I
like
love
that.
ranting Lou.
It's an amazing race reference.
My finger.
I loved Amazing Race. I liked it more than Survivor.
These are one of the Warner Brothers tour carts that tour you around the Stars Hollow set.
That's amazing.
They're also what we use to, no, sorry. That's not what those are. The ones that tour the people around are much bigger. That's the thing that we use to get actors to the set from their trailers.
So the ones the common people aren't allowed to.
Yeah, just basically they're part of production.
We're all a little mad here. Ha 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 ha.
Feel bad for this guy.
I know, this scene is so sad.
It's Lord of the Rings ref.
I know, but how is he possibly on every channel? How
Because at the
or-
time, it was on TV all the time.
Every 2 seconds.
Really?
Yep.
It was.
Damn it, Sherry, I missed it. What comes on all the time?
Lord of the Rings. Osura, is that the right word?
But I don't think that's what's happening here, though.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think Lorelai's off base.
She's being a protective mama. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's totally off base.
I respect him so much for coming back.
Me
too.
Scary.
He's a lovely coconut.
All right, I like this guy. I'm liking this guy. I'm liking this guy.
Well,
And
he
we want you
redeemed
to know
himself.
if does that might mean you're possibly team with.
I'm not ready for that yet. I'm not ready for it, but I
He
can't
likes-
say
He
I'm
likes
like
the
this. I'm
things-
liking this guy. Let's just leave it at that for right now.
Laura.
We'll take it.
Huzzah.
Emma said yay.
I know, I'm so happy John's like,
One thing we have to remember is that Lorelai's view of Logan is kind of skewed because she hasn't really spent any time with him yet at this point.
Yeah, I
So-
think she hasn't re-met him. Just
Yeah, just the one time.
I need you all to
Ready.
pause. Sorry, my internet.
Pause the episode.
Yep.
Pause.
Sorry.
Pause.
We only have 3 minutes left, so
I know. I was literally watching my internet degrade. Like I was just seeing the picture get worse and worse. I was like, please, come on, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. All right, I have to go restart my internet. Oh, just started again.
Yeah.
All right, hold on a second. Hold on 1 second. Don't start it yet. Don't start it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just do a quick reboot here really quick. And we've got Mitchum walking in. I want to make sure that that's in good shape.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on today because my Netflix crashed like halfway through the episode. So
It gives me time to take pictures of the recipes from this episode.
does anyone else have those Gilmore Girls recipe like cookbook?
yes, I have
Yes.
all of them. Sherry has several too, I think.
Yeah, I have a couple. So I
That's
just
if I can
did
find them.
the duck, and now I'm gonna do the lamb chops.
Have you made either of those, Sherry?
Not yet, but I'm dying to do the lamb chops, and I really want the lamb and artichoke stew. And I got Sabrina saying she'll make it for me when we get together for the first time.
Oh, perfect.
What's the secret ingredient in the lamb chop, Sherry?
I'll tell you in 2 seconds.
Is this a cookbook of all the recipes of the food that's referenced in the show?
It's a lot of stuff. It's I Eat Like a Gilmore. There's 2 of them. And there's actually at the top of underneath the recipe, there's a little like thing that will tie it into where it was in the show. So the
All right,
lamb
everybody.
chops- Go ahead, Joe.
All
We're
right,
ready.
we're back. We're back. Let's get through this. I'm about to hit play again on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Interesting. Interesting. He logics just like Logan.
Yep.
Yep.
Where do you think you learned it from?
Pop is overprivileged.
And now we sit.
That was great. That was great.
How excited are you for the next episode?
I was actually just gonna say there are a few episodes that I've felt this for, not that many where I really wanted to just start the next episode immediately. I mean, this is one of those episodes where I really just want to know what happens next.
I mean, we could.
Let's do it.
No,
Come on.
We can hit play.
no, we have it all timed out. But
You were thinking about it, weren't you, Jeff?
a little bit, but no, we can't do that. I want to keep on our schedule, but this episode was rad. This was a cool episode. Like, not like a big explosive episode. Didn't have any theater pieces or rock shows, or it wasn't like a sweep episode, so to speak. But it just was really good writing, really good characters. I loved it. All right, I'm bringing some folks up onto the couch with us, and we're gonna chit chat for a bit. Couch is open. Come on up.
So many thoughts. Oops.
So many thoughts. So many thoughts.
Hey everybody, now I think you can probably see how easy it is for us to like binge one episode after another and waste an entire day watching it.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, if I had to be honest, it's like that doesn't happen to me all the time, but it really happened to me in this episode, big time. And it was mostly because I'm really starting to become invested in this whole Logan side of the story, like not just Logan and Rory, but like Logan and Logan. Like I'm very fascinated with this guy.
Finally, I made it on the couch. Hey, before we start talking about like the whole episode, I just wanted to I'm a court reporter, and I was sitting here writing the scene between Logan and Rory, and I clocked them at 272 words a minute. I kind of tapped out at 256.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow, that's
Holy crap.
That is impressive.
That is so impressive.
Who's the one who said it?
Hunter, yeah.
Hunter, you've got some kernels coming your way.
Yeah, thank you.
That was cool. Yeah. I was wrong about what I thought Mitchum was going to be like. I mean, I'm sure that there's more to come. I'm sure that there's
much more.
I'm sure that we'll get to know him. But I really imagine somebody much more prickly. He's charming.
We could definitely hear your surprise. You were just like, oh.
It's like putting a mouse in with a snake and just waiting. That's
Emma's got the ick.
Yes, I do. He's my
Yeah.
I absolutely cannot stand Mitchum.
But you know what though? He, at least his introduction, he has a lot of Logan's traits. Just that, especially that ending where he's just like, just throwing out that logic, logicking past Rory's emotions. That's literally the scene, the first, big scene between Logan and Rory in the hallway, the Master and Commander scene. And even though it seems like Logan has some issues with his father, his father is, I don't know, seems like a friendly guy.
so far seems like the most sane out of his family.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Because then I was starting to think like, oh gosh, like is the really difficult one in the family the mother? And I was like, that I feel like that would just be sort of redundant, you know, like we already have an Emily character. It would be weird to have like, I like that juxtaposition of like, you know, the old man, he's like Trix, you know, and the idea that Mitchum would be kind of more like Emily, but I guess it's more complex than that. I definitely
Go on. Sorry, John.
no, I was gonna say I'm definitely loving this more introspective Logan.
Yay.
And yeah, I really definitely like that.
So
a lot.
happy.
I like seeing his
Uh,
relationship with this. I like his relationship with for how it makes him seem a little more human.
Yeah. Hi,
You
John.
you cut out there for a second, Jessica. His relationship with what?
His sister makes him seem a little more human.
Yeah, I love his
Totally.
relationship with
Oh
Honor.
yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm totally into that Honor character. She's great too. Like she seems sane.
She is.
I think his relationship with Honor grounds him and brings him back down to like not everything, like not the spoiled rich.
Agreed. There was just something
So John,
that I
Yeah.
sorry, go.
So I was going to say, John, earlier you said that you think Logan will be good. Do you have any of Lorelai's reservations on that? Or you think that
Is that
Veronica,
cutting
you're really
off.
is that
breaking
me
up.
or Veronica?
No,
It's
it's
Okay.
Veronica.
Veronica, you're really cutting out majorly. I caught that. Oh, she's gonna come back in. I'm assuming. I caught the first part of the question. I think that was an interesting one. I'll let her come back and ask again. Oh, hey, Veronica, you back?
I hope this is better. Can you hear me now?
Touch, but not
Oh,
great.
a touch
little
better. A touch better.
It's still like garbage.
Well, let's give it a shot.
I was gonna see if you have any reservations of Lorelai in terms of the situation.
I think she's saying, what do you think about Lorelai's reservations towards Logan and the whole situation?
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I thought I heard as well. Oh, I think that Lorelai is mostly just focused on I think she's more focused on Rory than she really is on Logan.
Yeah.
I don't even know if she's completely all that concerned with who Logan might be, whether Logan might hurt her or whatnot. I think she's more concerned with how her daughter is behaving in all of this.
Yeah.
Right, because all she's seen is her daughter coming home seemingly drunk from a party with these guys. Her daughter crying on the floor because wondering why this guy doesn't like her and what's wrong with her. And then only whenever her daughter calls her and talks to her about what's going wrong with the relationship. So her viewing on it is very skewed because she's only getting all the bad pieces.
And him going out with the other girl too.
Mhm.
Right,
And
right.
the
She has
first
every
time
right-
she met him was like at that wedding in that very unprofessional situation. But
Yeah, and she has every right to be worried. I think as her mom, that's her daughter. She's worried about her daughter because Rory is acting completely different than she's ever acted before. But also Rory's, in college. She's an adult. She's living her own life. So Rory has to make her own decisions. But Lorelai has every right to be worried about her, of course.
But also,
Yeah.
like, what's also happening is that she's seeing Rory do this like whiplash thing where she's like very, very sad and then very, very happy and then very, very sad. And that's alarming for anyone who loves a person and sees that. Like, whatever's going on there, like doesn't seem to be right. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely, I agree. But this is the episode that I completely became Team Logan, because this is the episode that you saw him like say, okay, I want to be committed to you because I like you and I want to try something new. Like he completely changed in order to be with her. Like he wanted to be her boyfriend because he realized, okay, I'm gonna lose her and I don't want to. And I loved that he stood up for Rory to his
family? Like, I was like, yeah, like, you should, because, you know, they're treating her horribly. So, like, this was the episode that I was like, wow, I'm really starting to like him. He's changing.
He the reason why I think that he actually may not be as bad at commitment as he seems to be, claims to be. Did he claim to be?
Yeah.
He kind of claimed
Yeah,
it.
he
Yeah.
says he's not ready for that. It's not in his name.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm actually thinking that maybe he's better at it than he's giving himself credit for.
Yep. And he just,
I
think sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I just think that I think that his own feelings about himself are largely there. It seems like what we saw tonight was why Logan acts the way he does, but maybe that's not who Logan really is. And so I guess the same thing that had him come back to her room later that night is the same thing that will likely drive him to be a pretty decent boyfriend.
Yeah, I agree. And I think he never really liked anyone as much as he liked Rory. Like he's like liked Rory. Like he's never let himself like anyone as much as he's liked her. But there's something about her that keeps pulling him back to her. And so he finally is like, you know what? I really want to commit to her because she's different. She's somebody that challenges me and brings a different side of me out that I've never seen before, that I've never like been before. And so I want to try something new. And I don't think he's ever had that. You know, he's dated people from his, you know, lifestyle, his world, you know, with the you know, rich, you know, all about money, like, you know, all about status women, and Rory's not that girl. So I think he's very, very taken with her, enamored by her. And I think that's what pulls him to her and makes him want to try something new and be a different person.
I feel like it's way too early to make any kind of judgment on him. And I think that was kind of Lorelai's hesitation, is when someone says they're a certain way, you know, initially believe them until they give you reason not to.
Exactly.
Yeah, I definitely think Logan switches up fairly often. Like within the space of an hour, he was walking away versus coming back. And I think that's more what Lorelai was trying to get at with the, you don't know what this is. And I don't think he knows what it is. I think that was more what Lorelai was trying to get her to realize, that she doesn't seem to see herself.
Yeah, but I think the reason why he left wasn't because he was being wishy-washy. He was hurt by what happened at his house, and he was trying to process it himself. Like, he came back and apologized because he knew he shouldn't have walked away, and that's something we haven't seen of him yet. And so that was a big move on his part too, to come back and be like, listen, I shouldn't have left. I'm sorry. I was just hurt and upset. And I think that shows a lot about his character, even though we haven't seen a lot of him yet. That's an improvement from him. And
I will say though, I actually thought the walking away from her that evening was the most uncharacteristic thing that I've seen out of Logan. I think that him showing up at her room later, while that was really a really nice gesture, and I felt like it was an honest one. It sort of reminded me of a lot of other, you know, sort of upstanding things that Logan has done throughout the season, like, you know, paying for wanting to pay for Marty's meal, and you know, just, I mean, I think I've never really seen him quite so defeated as he looked in that moment.
Yeah, and that just shows you the kind of relationship he has with them.
Yeah, and so like, I didn't interpret that as anything that Rory should have to worry about I would worry a little bit more about a Logan who is just having fun and and is distracted and wanting to socialize with everyone. Like that moment didn't strike me as a particularly worrisome one for him. And I don't know. I mean, like Lorelai hasn't really gotten to know Logan, so I don't know how she could ever possibly have any opinion about him particularly. I think, I think that what Diana, what you mentioned is I think that's it's probably what tracks best for me, is this idea that Lorelai is mostly really concerned with her daughter's behavior. Her daughter's sort of, going back and forth and
Well, actually, you know what it is? It just reminded me. It's like when with Jess, right? And she said, "Kid, you can't be the girl who sits home on a Saturday night waiting for him to call." And then she's like, "Okay, like I'll go out." She goes out, and then he shows up with a ticket. And
what could happen?
I don't know.
Sorry. Sorry. I thought my mic was off. Something fell in the kitchen.
No worries. But then like she says to Lorelai later, like she doesn't tell her right away until the next morning and says, I don't want to be that girl who like gets mad at her boyfriend, and then he shows up with Stiller's tickets, and like it's like really that like flip-flop behavior where it's like I'm mad and then I'm totally fine. And I feel like that's what Lorelai's seeing her do, is that like she's mad, she's great, she's mad, she's great. And I think like we know the whole story, like that Logan is pretty legit. Like he's definitely trying very hard, and we know the full story. But if you're Lorelai and you're only seeing your daughter kind of like go from happy to sad, back to happy, back to sad in the span of a day, then you might get worried.
I think it's also her theory of that she knows he's from society. Lorelai knows he's from society, so that means that she's got her guard up even more than maybe she should, or she's not going to give him at first maybe the fairest chance, because that's the world I ran away from and I took you with me.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, and not just society, but knows her parents' world, society.
Yep.
Well,
absolutely.
It's one and the same. Like it's not just that it's a local person or even Dean who moved to town. It's, oh my God, that she's moving. I see she's moving back towards the life I ran away from.
Yeah, I don't think she's not comfortable with that.
So I don't know that she's giving
all.
Logan a fair. Yes,
No.
she's worried about her daughter, but I think she's also maybe not giving him a fair chance to get to know him or what have you, until, because she hasn't even met him yet.
Yeah, I mean, it reminds me of when Emily, back in season 3, I think it was, when Emily wanted Rory to come out into society, and Lorelai was immediately like, no, we're not doing that. Like, no. But then Rory was like, no, I actually want to. Like, Grandma wants me to do it, so I'll do it. And she freaked out. She was like, wait, I what? Like, I never expected you to like this world, because I ran. So she literally said, like, I ran so far away from it. I never thought that you'd want to go back in. And so, like, it reminds me of that.
Actually, on that, I actually noticed an interesting similarity. There was a line Shira said. She said that Rory wasn't bred for this. And it really reminded me of that exact episode with Rory's coming out party, where Lorelai warned Rory that she would be treated like livestock if she entered this world. And it just clicked in my head when we were watching tonight. I was like, oh my God.
That's right.
Whoa.
That's
That's
totally
so
true.
parallels. Damn, that's so good.
What's also really interesting though about this is that we're now seeing that this world isn't a monolith. It's not just like, oh, this world is one way and the Stars Hollow world or the rest of the world is another way. This world has significant hierarchies. Like there's a significant difference between the Huntsbergers and the Gilmores, and we're starting to see what that is. And so there's always going to be this hierarchy of who's on the top and who's down the line. And it you know, it seems that it's always seemed to us that the Gilmores were towards the top, but they're not. The Huntsburgers are.
Just on that as well, I actually noticed while we're all talking about parallels, if we all remember wait, let me think 1 second if I'm jumping ahead. Let me think on that before I actually speak on this. because I'm
Give
trying
like
to
a
remember.
word and we'll let you.
I'm gonna Google it before I speak. I just want to be very careful.
Ooh, John, you wanted to tell us something before, you said you were gonna tell us.
About Nanny. Yeah.
Oh, but
About Annie.
how about the nanny?
Sure.
About the nanny. All right. So here's the thing that's interesting about the nanny. So we find out in this episode for the first time that she's Portuguese.
No, I think they said it too. Yeah.
They did say she was Portuguese in
Yeah,
season
I
two?
think
I
so.
believe
Like,
so, yes.
yeah, since
episode,
Paris
yeah,
like
Paris
first
talks about
mentions
it.
her. Yeah.
Okay,
And then
okay.
then there are scenes where like Paris will actually speak in Portuguese, presumably to Nanny.
And at the
Okay.
graduation to the 3 kids too.
Okay, but this is the first time that we've heard Nanny speak. Is that correct?
No.
No.
So we've heard this Nanny speak in Portuguese.
I think it was like a little bit during the graduation episode. Correct me if I'm wrong, anyone.
I think we
that's
also
fine.
tried her
Jarvis?
when she picked up Paris after the puffs.
John, you
Very
still have
true.
the-
Oh, good
the,
point. Good
timer.
point.
Yeah, she's yelled at her
And she
before.
spoke Portuguese.
Okay. I didn't think that she did. Anyway, then that might make my point moot. But I just thought it was interesting. I mean, that was the first time that I heard her speak Portuguese. The only time I remember her was from that episode at the graduation, where she's just smiling and waving. And I just thought that was really interesting. And especially if she already was established as Portuguese earlier on, that they hired an actress who is Portuguese because she speaks perfect Portuguese.
Mind blowing, right?
Well, I mean, now that you say that she had other lines, then of course that makes more sense. But if she didn't have any lines, if all she was doing was just waving, and I mean lines like verbal line, not like lines through a telephone or something like that, but like where you actually see her speaking Portuguese. If there have been other episodes where you've seen her actually her face and mouth moving and Portuguese coming out of it, then that's a different story. But if this is the first time that we've seen her actually speaking Portuguese, then they hired a Portuguese actress, even though they weren't, completely sure how much they were going to actually use her speaking Portuguese.
John, Cindy just messaged saying that the timer is still running.
Yeah, it's all right. The timer can keep running. I know everybody mentions the timer. The way that the timer works is that it just when I press play, it timestamps at a specific time, and then it just keeps playing. It just keeps going until I press stop on it. But it's not. And when I press stop, it just clears out that timestamp. But it's not a big deal.
Kurt.
John, in an earlier episode, they have Paris speaking to her nanny on the phone. I don't know what language she's speaking in there, but I'm guessing it's Portuguese. So they may have established her as Portuguese before they cast her as the nanny.
Right, that's the episode where she says she's staying over for mac and cheese when Jess comes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the idea. What I'm saying is that if she, okay, let me try to explain this. If we've seen this actress on camera speaking Portuguese, then forget everything that I'm about to say here. It doesn't matter.
But if we have not seen her speaking Portuguese on camera, but we have seen her on camera and you can cast anybody that you want to play a Portuguese character if they're not going to be speaking Portuguese, right? Like if they're not going to be opening, if they're not going to actually be saying anything, just waving, then just cast anybody who, I mean, who looks maybe like they could be Portuguese. That happens in Hollywood all the time. And if the only time you're going to ever hear them speak Portuguese is over a phone, that doesn't count, because you can just get a Portuguese actor to do that, because that's going to be done in the studio anyway. That's not going to be done, and it doesn't have to be by the actual actor who played the visual version of the character.
Yeah,
But the fact that this character now, the same character who we saw at the graduation, just simply waving, is now speaking perfect Portuguese, says a lot about the casting, about how they kind of knew that this character, that the actress, like maybe they cast the actress and they knew that the actress could speak Portuguese, and then they were like, okay, like if we ever bring her back, we might have her speaking Portuguese, so let's establish the character as Portuguese. Do you see what I'm saying?
So do you remember in like the first season, the first time that Rory asked Paris if she wants to go ahead and stay, Paris says, I have to call home and talk to my nanny, and she calls her nanny and speaks in Portuguese.
Exactly, right. So
they hired the actress after already establishing that she was Portuguese.
Correct. And so now they've hired the actress, they've already established it as Portuguese, but the actress is not, at least as far as I can remember, doesn't have any actual Portuguese lines on camera. So again, they didn't have to cast a Portuguese actress. They could have just cast anybody if they weren't going to give her any lines, if they were just going to have her waving. But they cast an actual Portuguese actress. Why? Because they might want to bring her back later and have her speaking lines. And that's exactly what they did. So I'm just sort of pointing out, like, that's freaking awesome. That's
thinking.
Like, what's that? That's
forward thinking, yeah.
That's like we establish it in this little moment. Okay, Mara and Jamie, we now have to actually cast that actress, and Mara and Jamie go out and find an actual Portuguese actress who can actually speak Portuguese, even though they don't actually give her Portuguese lines in the episode that they cast her in. But it's still awesome because we now have established this actor. And by the way, they end up kind of making the character go away, because in the next season, Paris says, that she like moved to some other place, right? So then you think, oh, well, they really could have cast anybody they wanted, because, then just a few episodes later, we find out that the character's like not even, in the series anymore, pretty much. But then surprise, surprise, season 5, they bring back the character, and guess what? We're going to give her some Portuguese lines.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. They may have thought that she was going to be more involved than what she was as well. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
She did have lines though when she's yelling at Paris when they're leaving the Chilton after the Puff incident.
Are they Portuguese lines? If they're Portuguese lines, then this is
yelling at her in Portuguese.
Oh, okay, then there you go. Then, as I said, then it's a moot point. Yeah, then they knew that she was going to be speaking Portuguese.
The most memorable part of this for me isn't even her own lines. It's when Paris is on the phone to her and she just screams, "Mucho mac and cheese."
Wait, was the nanny in any of the scenes when Paris stayed home after her CNN debacle?
They didn't show her, but they mentioned. Wow.
Is that the nanny that does move away? It's like showing she's like, we lost her.
I believe
And
so.
they're
Pretty sure, yes.
Yeah, I believe so.
Does anyone
That's
remember
funny.
what the exact reason was? I know she said did she leave to do her own business or something?
Mhm.
Yeah, she
opened up a
started her own
restaurant.
business. Yeah, a restaurant. That's right.
They establish it, making it seem like she passed away, and then they say no, she went off to do her own business. And so then this season, when the writers decided let's bring back Nanny, somebody in the room had to have been like, but we said that she went away. And then somebody else probably was like, yeah, but they've got money. They'd probably just ask her to come back and she's fine.
I love that like Paris freaks out about Doyle being sick, but she's pre-med, but she can't handle it, so she calls Nanny to take care of him. It's the greatest thing ever.
I think that's one of my favorite lines in the entire show is just her being like, I'm so tired of everyone throwing that back in my face.
Yeah, but it's like, of course they're gonna throw it back in your face when you're pre-med and you can't handle somebody with a really bad cold/flu.
Right.
But it's hilarious.
Yeah, that's
Well, to be fair, like if she was a doctor, the nurses would be doing what Nanny was doing. She would just like pop in and diagnose or whatever, and then move out of the room, and they would do.
Is Nanny her name?
I don't believe so.
Probably not. No, they just probably never gave her an actual
Yeah.
name, so she's just Nanny.
Because Gypsy is Gypsy's name.
Yes,
Yes.
that's me. I'm Gypsy. That's me.
Who said that's me?
Emma's
Me,
Gypsy.
because I'm Gypsy.
You're
Yes, I
Gypsy.
am.
Okay.
But I know people with the real name Gypsy.
Thought Gypsy Rose Lee. The musical.
Before we move on to the next topic, I just wanted to check about tomorrow's episode. Is Harry joining us for that, the guy who plays Harry, or not?
That would be a
That's
great
what
episode
he's-
for him if
that's
he's
what Jonah
available.
told-
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Oh, that's right. That is right. I have to
Text him.
I have to text him. Yeah, I mean, he's the one.
You
He's
should
the one who
text
actually
him.
reached out to me.
Right, but tomorrow is his introduction, and
Yeah.
it'd be a great episode for him to join.
Yeah, it's a
If
great
he's
episode.
available.
All right. He's in New York. He's on the East Coast, and when we first went back and forth, it sounded like he might have some time conflicts with when we do it. But then we went back a couple more times, and he was like, no, I should be able to do that. So.
And just to jump in as well, before we do move on to the next topic, I Googled to make sure. I couldn't remember if we already knew that Trix died. That was the thing. I suddenly brain froze on what season that was.
Season 4, episode 16.
That's the one.
Yep.
Thank you. Yeah, so on just the topic of parallels, and kind of we were all comparing, oh, well, it was Trix like Logan's grandfather, Emily like Shira, all of this. One thing that clicked for me was the treatment of Logan's family to Rory, specifically Shira saying, you're not good enough for this family. And that's exactly what Emily went through with Trix, saying that Richard should have married Penlyn. So just that kind of repeating history of the Gilmore girls, I suppose, both being treated as not good enough by the hierarchy of wealth was just interesting.
Yes, dang, Lee coming in with the facts. Dang.
It's just I don't know what it is. A lot of things are just clicking in my brain tonight.
I'm wondering if Emily is the key factor, and maybe that explains all of Emily's like self-consciousness, because she wasn't wanted by Trix, and now maybe she's tainted the Gilmore name by becoming a Gilmore, and that's why Rory's not good enough.
Dang.
Hey, I know Diane had a question. Diane, do you want to go in for it?
My goodness, T, you're funny. I just wanted to bring to light the fact that Christy Carlson, the cookbook author that we were mentioning earlier, is actually down on the beanbag. I didn't know if you might want to invite her.
That's so cool.
Hey, Christy, how are you?
We were on the topic of mac and cheese and Paris's mac and cheese with her nanny earlier. And
Yeah, we were thinking like maybe she would have a recipe.
me gusta mac and cheese. I don't know if John, if you invited her up, Christy, what you would do is you would see like a little green tab that pops up at the top of your screen that says that you can either accept or decline coming up to the couch.
Is she the one in the 5th row down farthest to the right?
There she is. Hi, Christy.
Hi. I can't believe I'm
Hi,
talking.
Christy.
Hi.
We love your cookbook.
Hi, John.
Welcome,
Oh my
Christy.
gosh.
So much.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I was in here cleaning the kitchen and I had this sort of like 10 feet away and then I heard, "How are you, Christy?" And I was like, "Oh no." So I just ran over. But thank you. Thank you so much. I love that you love the cookbooks.
Love the firefly ones.
Tonight's episode was so good.
I love
It was
this
a
episode.
it was a sizzler. It was straight from the salad bar.
What I don't know is what is John's theory that I'm not privy to this.
Yeah,
information.
what exactly was it? Just the fact that I was gonna finally see Mitchum Huntsberger?
I think that was probably it. We were all waiting for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did get one thing right. Mitchum was about to make an appearance seconds before I said, "Come on, Mitchum, come on, buddy, come on through that door. We know it's gonna happen."
That was very entertaining.
It was hilarious.
But he wasn't what I expected when he came in the door. I expected much more crass and ornery. I mean, he so far he seems pretty charming.
Did
He
you
seems
expect
pretty
more of
charming.
the grandfather? Mitchum to be more like the grandfather?
Yeah, I did, and I probably shouldn't have because you really only have room for one character like that. Although, I mean, Trix and Emily kind of have they kind of their energies repel one another. But so I mean, I guess they could have done the same, but I don't know. It's still too early to really say exactly what he's like. But I will say that he has a lot of Logan traits about him. There are aspects of his personality and just the way that he speaks and he seems like he's a charmer. But we've also all admitted that aspects of Lorelai are very similar to Emily, that Emily and Lorelai have similarities as well in their kind of judgment of people. So, maybe Logan is like the more palatable version of Mitchum.
Well, it makes sense that they're charming because the Huntsbergers are very wealthy and he owns how many businesses. You have to be charming to be a good businessman, right? So
I don't know.
Going to teach your son to be a good businessman. You're charming. You get along with people. You know how to talk them into what you want done. Right,
Sorry,
I
think there are probably plenty of really wealthy, like
terrible businessman.
Well, yeah, there are probably
no, but
terrible.
to be successful, you also need to charm people.
I don't know if that's totally true because with old money, you're set up with so much money. All you have to do is really just invest it correctly, and then you can just have your money making you more money. I don't know if in the world of old money that rule really applies, that like you have to be really charming to be successful. I think in old money, like that money just keeps growing because it's already there.
I don't think you have to be charming to be successful in business because corporate America and even wealthy tycoons around the world are are famous for that. I mean, you look at the recent press conference that Elon Musk did with the whatever it was, the richest man, and I'm pretty sure it was China or Singapore, and he was just several sandwiches short of a picnic. I've never heard that. I've never heard that expression before. French fries short of a Happy Meal.
I've never really thought of Mitchum as charming before, but I definitely see it now that we're talking about it. But does he remind anyone in the way that he's charming but also ruthless? Does that remind anybody of Richard? I mean, they sort of come from the same background.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I don't really see Mitchum as ruthless yet because I haven't really seen anything specifically ruthless. I think that his point to Rory makes a lot of sense, which is just sort of like why do you care? Like, why does that matter? You know what I mean? Like, you need, if you're awesome, then fantastic, you're awesome. That means that I'm about to give you like an opportunity, and then if you take it, you'll be able to accelerate even more in your awesome now that you have this opportunity. Like, why are you trying to make like life this story in which like everything that you get is because of how great you are, and not because you just happen to be given a favor. I think that logic, it sort of tracks. It seems like it would be something that like Logan would say to her, and seems like something that Richard would say. I'm guessing that the character's probably going to get a lot more ruthless and a lot nastier because of the way that some of you have been talking about him. But as of right now, he doesn't seem to be particularly ruthless at all, or he doesn't seem like a shark or anything like that. He just seems like he's really smart and isn't really led by his emotions.
Yeah, and actually ruthless was probably too harsh a word. I mean, he's a business guy and he just lays facts out without taking really the emotion into account sometimes. And Richard is very much like that too. So, and they're both sort of from a moneyed background. They're both very successful in what they do. They both run in the same circles, sort of, most of the time. And so is he just sort of another Richard that just happens to have more money and a little bit more power? I'm sort of seeing the parallels.
Yeah, I mean, I could see the parallels too. I think that Richard is a very charming guy, but he's a little bit more charming, like in a sort of sweet, lovable grandpa sort of way.
Right.
I'm curious what the room thinks about that last moment. You think that Rory? Hold on, Sherry. Do you think that Rory?
It wasn't me for a change.
Oh,
It was Emma.
Oh, it wasn't? Oh, okay. It had okay. Well, you've taught Emma well. No, I'm kidding.
I did see.
So the Rory's position on it. Who agrees that she shouldn't take that from him, that like she needs to like earn it herself, and that's sort of the important thing. Does anybody feel like that she's right in that?
No. She would be stupid not to take that internship given to her by somebody like him just because she's feeling a little too prideful over it.
Yeah, I think that's a good word for it. It's pride. I mean, and it's like, I mean, there's no question about it. She is gifted. She is a very, very, very gifted individual. And a gifted individual being given an opportunity is like, I mean, she can go even further.
But it's really hard to ignore the privilege here that she would be in the right place at the right time to be gifted an internship. And the point is well taken that Mitchum says, like, so what? Like, so what if you've had this opportunity? Just take it. Who cares why it's here? I get it, but it's like actually really hard to separate that from the privilege of just being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, and he's only giving it to her because he feels bad about what happened at dinner. And that's why it's like icky to me, because it's like he's only doing it because he feels bad. Like he doesn't even know her to know that she's a talented writer. Like he's never read any of her pieces or anything. He
How
just
do you know
knows-
that, Emma? He reads
Exactly.
the Yale Daily News. He looks for Logan's pieces. He reads that paper. He may have seen her writing before and just not acknowledged it. We don't know that he's never read what she's written before.
Didn't Mitchum also say he has heard about like stuff about
He's heard
Hillary
good
from
things about
Logan?
him.
Yeah, he seemed to suggest that he kind of has heard through the grapevine that she's an important person there.
True, but that doesn't mean he's necessarily read any of her pieces. But
But it
to
still
me,
doesn't
anyway, even
matter.
if,
I
even
think she should take the opportunity. I don't think it should matter if he's read it or not. He's giving her an opportunity, and being in the right place at the right time, sometimes that's all it takes for people. It happens all over the world.
no, I agree with you on that aspect. I just think that from him, like it didn't come from like him trying to give her a good opportunity. Like to me, it just felt like he was trying to make things right because of the disaster that happened at his house. Like he just felt like he just wanted to smooth things over with her and make it go away. So he decided to give her the internship anyway. So to me, it just felt gross. Like even though
Sorry, go on.
no, that's it. That's
I was
pretty
just
much it.
gonna say, I think both things are true, basically. I do think it's very icky, but I also think his point of, okay, well, what if that is the only reason I'm giving this to you? Take it, because that doesn't matter. The motive
Because the
doesn't
world-
matter. It's still you taking an opportunity.
But not just that, because the world is a difficult place. I mean, Diana, we both work in industries that we understand how talent sometimes doesn't matter. Sometimes it is really like getting an opportunity that you just happen to be able to get, you know?
Absolutely.
You know, and so, you know, I'm watching it and I'm just thinking like, you know, knowing how many great gifted writers, actors, directors will never be heard. They'll just never be heard because they just never got the opportunity, and they're still gifted, but they just never got the opportunity. Like that when I see somebody get an opportunity, no matter where it came from, you know, that my instinct is to be like, why are you doing that? You know how many people who are as gifted or more gifted just didn't get that. They never got that chance. And it sucks that that's the world we live in, right? Where so many talented people just aren't heard. I hope that will change one day. But that is the way the way things work, you know? And so, I don't know.
Was Diane trying to say something?
Yes, thank you. Okay, so I also, in addition to what everyone was just sharing, had another potential theory, and y'all don't have to agree, but I kind of feel like maybe Mitchum is seeing that Rory is a special person to Logan. She's actually, you know, coming into his life, and you know that he really likes her. And so I think that he is actually maybe potentially trying to test Rory to see, does she have what it takes, or, you know, what is her potential? And if she were to work, okay, she could maybe, you know, be like over one of the newspapers that I own, or you know,
I agree.
like more long term in the future. I don't know. That was just a thought that I wanted.
So just like also, as somebody who does not know what's coming up next, I could also interpret this moment to be something not too different from what we just saw Emily doing with Luke, which is this guy's got some weird thing going on with his son, and it seems that he doesn't want that bad energy between his son more than his son doesn't want it, because the little interchange, the little exchange that they have there as he's leaving, Mitchum seemed like he was happy to see his son, wanted to, you know, have dinner and whatnot. And Logan seemed kind of like dismissive of his dad, like, I don't like you. And so if that's the case, that would be a very similar dynamic between, you know, these two as between Lorelai and Emily. And we just saw Emily like trying to, you know, going out of her way to sort of mend something
by like trying to appeal to the love interest of her daughter. That's one way I would probably interpret that.
That's
I could
an
interpret this
amazing
moment,
connection. That's
which could be that like he's trying to like get on his son's good side, and he's thinking, you know, my son likes this girl, great. You know, maybe that will get him to come around a little bit more and spend more time with me. But
maybe
that's
they'll
just based
set
on
up
what I
Friday
see.
night dinners.
Yeah, that's just based on what I see from him now. I mean, you know, I don't know. Like, I don't really know much about his character.
Yeah, coming in with the insight. I never thought of it like that. Good theory. Good observation.
Well, and
I never thought of it
I
like
always
that.
think it's about control, right? Like if she's good at the newspaper thing, he can keep an eye on her. He doesn't just have to give her a job and keep it in the family. He can keep an eye on her. You know, like it's all like kind of benefits Mitchum.
True. It's very true.
Would I possibly be able to introduce the next topic that I'm dying to discuss?
Sure. Although I actually am going to be heading off here in a sec, but I would love to hear it and then potentially use that as a segue to saying goodbye to everyone.
I'll try. Now that you've said that, I'm going to try not to disappoint. There's a line that I think we shouldn't overlook, and that is finding out that Emily had Lorelai's car towed for wearing a rhinestone penis t-shirt.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you said that. And because I wanted to bring that up as well.
Connected minds.
Okay,
Connected minds.
Yes, connected minds. Oh, this is the perfect segue out of here. No, the only thing that I was thinking was, I wish that Valerie was here with us because I was
Oh my God! Yeah.
Oh my Lord! Yes.
Because I was just thinking, it's a very funny line, but we've never seen Lorelai wear anything like that at all in the entire series. So it's a funny line in theory, but it doesn't seem to really add up to what we've seen so far. That was my interpretation of it.
Maybe it
I
was
thought to myself,
young.
in my mind, I was thinking, if this show was on the air now, and it was on maybe a cable network, or even if it was on a streaming network like on a Hulu or even a Netflix, that we might actually see a rhinestone penis T-shirt on the show.
Yeah, but
If anyone made them, I would buy them.
I think.
Oh, is that what you?
If
Lee,
we're
is that
really-
what you were getting at? You just wanted to mention it in the hopes that one of our makers here would create a rhinestone penis.
Yeah, you caught me.
T-shirt?
You caught
Because
me.
I'm telling you,
I mean, it's pretty.
I'm telling you right now, at least 3 people here have already started to design
I can see Photoshop open right now. I'm so excited.
it. Hi, Randy. How are you?
Hey, doing well, John. Hey, sorry, I was wanting just to chime in on that whole Mitchum Huntsberger thing, his offer to Rory, but you guys already passed on, so I'm
No. I brought you up because I saw that you were that you're a new, relatively new member, and Krista actually looks like she brought you into the mix, which is awesome.
She did, yeah. We kind of connected on Discord, and I started following you guys a while ago, and kind of was interested in what you guys had to offer, kind of trying to learn the ropes on, and she kind of helped me out a little bit and trying to kind of navigate my way through this whole thing. So this is my first episode that I'm listening to you guys on. I think it's a great platform. But no, what I wanted to kind of mention on this as far as the Mitchum Huntsberger thing is that his opportunity to her, in terms of like what you kind of mentioned about, like, you know, should she have kind of took that kind of attitude towards, you know, why would I want to take that opportunity from somebody that doesn't know me or anything of that nature? My kind of position on that would be is that, you know, either way, regardless of the premise of why he's offering it to her, it would be an opportunity for her to kind of show her kind of worth in the industry as far as being like a journalist. And regardless whether or not that he wanted to kind of further her career or not, it would be her opportunity to kind of show sort of the company that he kind of brings her onto, to kind of show that has some kind of worth to be kind of noted. And if she was as good and talented journalist as she wants to be or has claimed to be, then she should be able to excel even after he leaves her side, if that makes any sense. To kind of pave her own way, and him just kind of leading her to that path, but her kind of paving her own way through it without his further help, in kind of making her own name there. That might make any sense. I'm not sure if that's
Yeah,
kind of
actually, I love that. And actually, what was the name of the girlfriend that the mom mentions?
Fallon.
Fallon.
The lovely Fallon girl.
Yeah,
The lovely
Fallon
Fallon
girl.
girl,
Yeah,
right? So
Fallon,
like,
yeah.
you know,
Fallon Carrington kind of like.
so in a way, it kind of it all like what you're saying, Randy, is like it sounds like what you're saying is that he may be trying to see if like she could potentially become a Fallon type individual in the eyes of their family by sort of carving her own way.
Right, and I'm not sure what the context of with the Fallon girl was. That her being kind of someone that was very ambitious, or was that just somebody that was just
No.
kind of a nice girl that they kind of thought to be?
No, it sounded to me like Fallon was extremely ambitious and the type of person who like would be able to sort of be a great partner of Logan's.
Because that seems kind of contradictory to what I kind of interpreted that scene to be, given that they were kind of mentioning that Rory wanted to be a working woman, and that was different than what Fallon was, and they wanted that type of person to be, rather than a working woman, to kind of be an independent woman, kind of making her own way. That's what I kind of got from that.
Okay, that I interpreted the working woman thing as being independent, as in off doing her own thing, because they were like you know, like being a reporter out in the field versus more of like a partner in the business. Right.
Got you. More like a chair at the seat of the
yeah, like
the executive, something like that. Right.
Exactly. Like the two of them would be sort of this like that's sort of
Power
how
couple.
I imagined it. This like power couple, you know, sort of leading the company together, versus this sort of independent reporter off traveling the world, jet setting, doing all of that kind of stuff.
Right. That gives me a whole completely other insight on that whole scene there, because I always interpreted it the way I kind of explained it, but that kind of gives me a little bit more of an insight in terms of like maybe that possibly might be another interpretation as to what that is. And actually I kind of mentioned that to Krista earlier, is that kind of all the different kind of points of views from all these different people from watching the show, especially when I know you're watching it for the first time. I think I've watched it probably 10 times now through the entire series. But
wow.
It's just, every time that I've watched it, I kind of pick a different character to kind of follow through the series, rather than just the main kind of core characters like, you know, your Lorelai or Rory and your your Luke, stuff like that. I kind of start following different characters, kind of see what's inside of their life more, kind of develop them a little bit more throughout the series. Because I think some of them kind of get kind of overshadowed from the core characters. I think that's kind of people are kind of missing out on that. So I kind of like to follow different ones every time I watch the series over again. But yeah, so I do see that there's a lot of points of view, and even the people kind of my circle that I've kind of have watched it with, is that they have a different point of view than I have. I kind of love this platform to kind of see how many people have a different kind of interpretation of how the show has different kind of points of views from like not only the characters, but from the people that watch the show itself.
So are you watching? So you just jumped in at this episode. You're not doing another specific watch at this time.
No, not at this time. No, this is a very specific one that I jumped on only because it was the first one that I saw. Like I said, I was trying to navigate through the whole platforms with Clubhouse and Discord and the Marcus apps, stuff like that. So I was kind of navigating through to trying to figure out how to get involved in it. And then so this was the first one that kind of came on board. Now I was actually able to get like a notification that you were coming back on. I think it was 7 o'clock my time, because I'm on California, so I think you're as well.
Yeah, I'm on California.
Yeah, so it kind of gave me the notification. Chris was kind of walking me through, hey, they're starting now. So get in there. So she kind of really walked me through that. So I really thank her for that.
You're awesome, yeah. Krista. Thank you.
Yeah, she is. But yeah, so go ahead. I know you said you had to go, so I don't want to kind of have too much of your time there. I just want to kind of chime in there and kind of speak my mind on that whole situation there.
Randy, did you
It's really,
follow the
it's really
Brian
exciting.
character?
I'm sorry?
Curious. Have you followed the Brian character storyline in the way that you watch the side characters?
No, I have not. I have followed like Lane's kind of character. I did follow like obviously like David Rowski is kind of one of my favorites. So that it was short lived. But not Brian specifically. But I did follow like Hep Aliens kind of storyline in that scenario. I do love Brian's character, his sort of quirkiness. In the band itself, it's very I'd say very kind of oil and water when it comes to Brian and Zach. It's very interesting of how they even got together as a band, as bandmates. It's very backstory yet, or in general, I don't think they actually have, as far as like how Brian and Zach kind of got together in terms of like their band.
You know what? You know
that's
my
just,
theory. My theory is that they're childhood friends. That they grew up together.
Oh, I love
And
that.
my theory is that they went to
I
elementary school
agree.
together. And they,
Yeah, 100%.
and even though they're so different in so many ways, they just have known each other for so long that,
wow.
and they both learned instruments, and they both just at a certain point decided to do a band. I would imagine that probably Zach was the one who like kind of kind of got it together. But I'm sure that the two of them knew each other from elementary
It sounds
school.
about right. Yeah, Brian seems very shy.
They've been friends for a very long time. So
Sandbox
that makes
love
sense.
never dies.
Yeah, it's why they can fight and
Yes.
still get along so great.
Yeah, because they fight like siblings. They fight like brothers.
Yes,
Right.
they do.
100%.
Yeah, that makes
all
that's
right.
a very good theory there.
Well, I hope that you'll continue with us on this journey.
Absolutely.
And the reason why I even asked was because I was like, I wanted to know like what character might you be tracking this time?
Yeah, I have. I'm not currently watching this series from the beginning right now. In fact, my daughters are actually watching it. They have watched kind of episodes every now and again, but they're currently watching it all the way through.
Oh,
So I'm kind of
amazing.
curious to see like what their thoughts are on it, because I mean I've watched it a number of times. My wife has as well, and so it's kind of amazing to kind of see kind of all of us kind of be able to kind of discuss that as well as family, to kind of see what the points of views are as well, kind of within our own little inner circle. But yeah, so it's an interesting take. It's kind of one of those things where like I kind of time my rewatches like every now and again. Usually I won't start watching those until like probably like when the fall comes in, and then I'll watch it all the way through. But I'll usually just binge it like probably 4, 5, 6 episodes a day.
Have you been to the Gilmore Girls Fan Fest?
The Fan Fest? No.
Oh, you didn't know? Oh, yeah. So for the past several years, every October, this last year it wasn't because of the pandemic, but for about 4 years, 5 years, how many years?
Okay.
In Connecticut,
yes,
a bunch of the cast and crew converge on a little Connecticut town, and fans of the show come and we just hang out for a weekend.
That's awesome. Yes, I did. They did a virtual one last year, right? I believe
they did a virtual one because of the pandemic. Yeah, but in the
yeah.
past it was like all in person, and the hope is that we don't get any big surprises here with the pandemic that keep it from happening. But
right,
looks
the only event that we attended was the Netflix event that they did down. I believe it was at I think it was UCLA or USC on the campus, where Netflix did the marketing there for when the A Year in a Life.
Oh, you were there. You were that. That was the party for the actual premiere.
Right.
Yeah.
So I didn't see that, but I did go to that event down at the campus. I
it
think
was
there was
awesome.
actually a few guests. I think they had yeah, so they had quite a few people there, and it was actually really cool. So that was
Well,
really fun that we got to experience. I
all
think
of
that
us,
was
all of
something
us
probably
were
gonna get.
there. All of us were there. All of the cast, we were there. We weren't there. The event was sort of broken into two sections. And the area where the cast and crew was a little off to the side, but we were still there. I remember there were like a bunch of other fans that were relatively close. I want to say basically in the same general vicinity.
Oh wow! Oh
Ra-
my gosh.
Yeah.
Randy, do you mean the like festival with the booths and the?
I don't. I might be. I might be describing it differently because I think I don't believe that it was part of the unless it was a premiere that was completely separate than what I'm referring to. But this was it was on the campus. It was Netflix was throwing it, so they were hosting it because obviously they were the ones that were putting on the 4 episodes. But it was where they set up a area within the square of the campus, and they had all these different kind of I guess we call it mementos of for the show. So they had like a Luke Steiner where they were serving coffee at, and then they had an area like the Kim's Antiques that actually
Yes.
had, I believe they actually had actual artifacts from the show, but like some of the
Yes.
right. So they had some of the actual like paintings and things of that nature that were inside of a tent. And they had different things, even a homage to the A Life and Death Brigade. I think they had some umbrellas set up with like photo ops and stuff like that. But they did have some of the cast members. So like they had Yannick Truesdale was there. We did get a picture with Rose Abdul Gypsy. We did get a picture with her inside of the gazebo that they had set up there. And I believe they had one other person there, and I don't remember who it was. I know Yannick had just left because we were waiting in line. He had just left. I think they had something like a 2-hour window between the different characters that they had as like meet and greets. But he had just left before we had gotten into the actual event. But no, it was really cool. That was the only thing that we've actually gone to that was local here. Connecticut seems like a very kind of far-fetched for us, traveling all the way out to Connecticut to do that, but that seems very awesome. I did see that they were offering that virtual one last year. I didn't attend, but I did see that they were doing that, and a lot of people were guest appearing and things of that nature. So glad that they're still doing that. Hopefully it goes well this year.
Hopefully no major surprises.
Right.
Well, as much as as fun as it would have been to leave on a rhinestone penis t-shirt.
God damn it.
It was
sorry guys.
I think that it was a bit better actually to end on a new member of our community
100%.
and welcoming you in.
Yes,
Super cool.
Here.
Really appreciate you guys.
I will be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. to watch the next episode, which I'm dying to find out what happens here. I hope that it's one of these where we kind of go straight into more of this storyline. I hope that like there are kind of these like mini arcs I feel like we have on the show where like a few episodes will be kind of dedicated to one thing. I just hope that we don't have to wait too long for more of the Logan Mitchum stuff because I'm really, really, really curious about it.
Thank you for everything as always.
Thank you so much
Oh.
for everything, John.
Thank you,
Thank you,
John.
guys.
Thanks,
We love you.
everyone.
We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Have a
All
good
right,
night,
bye,
everyone.
everyone.
Bye.
Good night, John. See you tomorrow.
Yep. Oh, I'm actually going to make some folks moderators really quick in case anybody wants to stick around. Regina, you're a moderator.
Good night, John, and thank you for looking at Logan in a lighter light these days.
Yes, thank you
So
very
funny.
much.
It's so funny.
Thank you.
It's so funny how everyone is so attached to their characters.
I just enjoy
They're-
hearing your changes in perspective as it goes because that's how I felt
too.
when I first watched the series. I didn't dislike him as much as some people did, but I felt like his character changed and evolved as they went on, and I like that
Yes.
about how the writers did that with him. You
Good.
got to see some changes in him. He wasn't just this one bad boy the whole
Yeah,
way through.
absolutely.
And I see Steph's in the audience, so I know that she's already got her design software going.
Yeah, I have a silhouette.
Yes.
Actually, I can
All right.
plot it out, and it will do it in rhinestones if I wanted to. So I can actually do it within seconds.
My dreams are coming true.
Oh my goodness. All right,
I love
everybody.
that.
I'll see you tomorrow. This was awesome.
See you tomorrow.
Good
Dan.
night,
Bye.
guys.
Good night,
Bye.
John.
Bye. I'm gonna head out to you guys. This was so much fun.